I'm playing it like Sally Hawkins in Shape of Water. What's up, guys? It's the Old Drunken Geek again, and today I wanted to review, a very light, brushed over review of The Shape of Water. It's gonna be a spoiler review, so if you guys haven't watched it, either suffer or go watch it right now. What the fuck are you doing? This was a beautiful movie. It told a beautiful, beautiful story, a love story, a story that dealt with the themes of loneliness, of kind of not necessarily isolation, but just being the others in a society. You know, you've got your mainstream society, and you got people that for one reason or another are. It feels like they are just laid to the side, thrown away. Obviously you have the character Sally Hawkins, which, by the way, I gotta say, man, to do a performance without talking damn near the whole movie, that's props, man. She should get an Oscar nod for that because it was just beautiful. And she emoted so much. She didn't have to say any words. Just everything she did was just so expressive. And she was hotter than expected, man. I gotta say, she was yeah, yeah. So yeah, I like that the thing was a period piece. It added a lot of details to their world. At first when I was watching, I'm like, what is it, 1920s, maybe 30s, 40s, 40s? Oh, civil rights stuff. Yep, either late 50s, early 60s, I would say. So I think that's more or less around the time it took place. And yeah, you got the sense for this Cold War paranoia, against the Russians, and that's kind of in a way the drives the plot forward because that is the reason why they have this fish man, fish god, it's fish guy, why they are justifying, the government people in themselves justifying treating this creature like an animal, like even worse than an animal, man. You shouldn't even treat animals that way. Dude, I wouldn't even treat a plant that way, you know what I mean? Let alone a living creature. Yeah, man, what a movie, man. It was super beautiful. The lighting of the movie was always really it just seemed like it was wet the whole time. For some reason in the movie, it just felt like everything was wet. Like not necessarily in just the color of it just felt like a very humid place to be where it rains all the time for some reason. I don't know if that was on purpose or that was me just fucking whoa. Just I don't know, man. You got this feel of it being the shape of water in a way, So, like I said before, this movie revolves around outcasts. It revolves around outsiders, people who are outside of normal society. You see it in Sally. Sally's character, she is obviously a mute. She's seen as like a throwaway person. Also, her friend, is a black lady. Obviously, this is before the civil rights movement or during the civil rights movement. So, she was also by society almost seen like a throwaway person. The Russian scientist, he's like a nerd, a scientist, even though he could fit into society because he's white, a white man. He still couldn't be himself. You know what I mean? He was discarded. His ideas like, come on, man, we can't. This fish guy, this is like the discovery of the century. We're not gonna do this to just being a kind person. It feels like it makes you an outcast. The roommate, the gay guy, um, obviously for being gay, he couldn't even hold down his job because I guess, they allude to the fact that he lost his job because he's gay. Nobody wanted him in the offices because he's gay, and yeah, man. And as my friend Christian pointed out, this movie, this situation that they all get thrown in, gives them a chance to do something about it. Gives them a chance to do something in their lives. The guy, the gay guy, he tried his shot at the pie clerk or whatever, the guy that sold them the pies, which I thought I could have put money that dude was gay. But I guess he wasn't. He's like, what the fuck you doing? Sally Hawkins' character, Eliza Despacito, no, Esposito, and her friend Zelda, they were like the cleaning ladies. They were like, they're just like, here, whatever. You're not adding on to our society, even though they're the people who are keeping everything clean. If you really think about it, if anybody's ever been an employee of like a big company, um, you sometimes do feel like you're a cog, but a cog is important in a machinery, right? So that's the feeling that they convey in this movie. It was done in such a personal way that you felt like those characters. Um, and yeah, man, they all finally get something to do, or a reason to do something, a call to action. And it was so cool to see everybody, come out of their shell in a way. The love story in this movie was just so beautiful because it showed how love should work, at least in my opinion. Just finding somebody that you just see them for them, just see them for everything they are, all the beauty that they are, and just love them, just appreciate them for them. It was pure. There wasn't any mishmash behind it. It was just, I'm this, you're that. We see something in each other. In this case, it being the fact that they're both outcasts. The fish man, the amphibian. Um, they didn't even really give him a name, but the amphibian man and Sally Hawkins' character, Lisa, they found something in each other that they had in themselves, like a mirror reflection of themselves. And that was just so beautiful. They both just loved the musicals and the dancing, and they just thought that was neat. And you know, it was just heartwarming. And at the end, when the amphibian man gets shot and she gets shot, you're just like, fuck, dude. And I was like, clearing my throat in the theater. I was like, nah, no, no. I was with my girl. I was like, yeah, no, no, bro. My eyes are sweating. I don't know what that is. Not crying at all. Men don't cry, right? I was bawling like a bitch almost. But anybody who's seen the movie, obviously, if you're watching this review, you know that they didn't die. So you're like, oh, okay, cool. I was like, yeah, that was nothing. The only gripe I had with any of the scenes was the dance musical scene. I felt like that was a little too much. It took me a little bit out of the movie. The scene itself was beautiful. If it wasn't a movie that just had more of those types of scenes, but it was just, I don't know, a little weird to me. Um, Also, this movie was said to be a little raunchy before I went to see it. It's like, oh, and then in the beginning you see her like kind of flicking her bean a little bit, and you're like, that's not that raunchy. She's doing it underwater. But those sex scenes with the amphibian man, they were pretty fucking raunchy, man. There was something just so, I don't know, man, so primordial about it of being in the water and shit. It was, I don't know, man. It made me sweat a little bit. Like, oh, do I really kind of got the hots for homegirl right now? Another thing I just wanted to mention was the true monsters of this movie, and they were the people in charge. There was the general that was running, coming to the base every once in a while to see whatever how everything was going. He just seemed like such a heartless character, man. Somebody just like, you calling this dude a monster, because even though other people see him as gods, and that was also commentary as to how the Western world, especially in those times, but commentary on today's world too, how they see other countries, how they see other people. Like they thought he was like God. He's a fucking fish, man. You know what I mean? And at the end, you do get some closure for that, where he's like, "Oh shit, you are a god." Throat slit, motherfucker. But yeah, man, those were the true monsters of the movie. Him, the Russian guys that were trying to kill Dr. Hofsteller, I believe it was. Which that guy, man, he every time I see that actor, he's just doing the most, dude. I don't know if anybody's seen Men in Black 3. I know it's like a throwaway movie for a lot of people. Thought it was okay. He was like a character in that, and he was like complete 360 of that character in Boardwalk Empire. That's Arnold Rothstein. If anybody's seen it, the guy, man, he just does the most every time he gets into a role. But that's beside the point. Going back to the thing of monsters, these monsters, you got the American general, you got the Russian spy guys, and then you also have Michael Shannon, I believe his name is. Um, the guy that played the guy that was really controlling everything, just hated the fish guy, and he was just so violent. Just that introductory scene with him in the bathroom where he's standing there, dick out, pissing in front of the girls, which it's just so relevant with today's Me Too movement. It's shit like that. Like, come on, man, have some respect, dude. Nobody's trying to see your wiener, bro. I know when all the dudes are in the bathroom, you piss like this, like. Nobody out there like, everybody see my Johnson? Like what they say about ex-president Lyndon B. Johnson. He says he's the biggest dick you ever seen. Um, To me, guys who like talk like that all the time tend to be making up for it, other parts of their lives where, they do have shortcomings. And this guy had so many shortcomings in his personality, in his he had what in the 1950s would be the perfect life. He had the perfect wife, a wife that would bang him, uh, little kids. He had money. He could afford the Cadillac, but something was always missing in him. He could never really truly find connection because what I got from the character, he was just so jaded. He was just so jaded that he couldn't really actually make connections, not even with his wife and kids. He was always chasing this, you know, this ghost of a dream of a perfect life of betterment. He's just always trying to be better and better. But for what? There's got to be an end game, right? There's got to be a point where you're just like, all right, man, like, okay, let's focus on me being happy, you know. And it didn't seem like for him, it seemed like it was just constant power grab, power grab, power grab. Kind of like it was just his American philosophy. I don't want to call it that, but in the 1950s, that's what it was. Also, man, Michael Shannon, his character, I thought that he was like a dark image of all the outsiders. Like you had Sally Hawkins characters and her gay friend, her black friend, and obviously the amphibian, the Russian spy guy. They were like one side, and he almost seemed like he was with them in a way because he didn't fit in perfectly with society either. Even though artificially he, on the outside he might fit in with them people, it didn't seem like in him he didn't fit in with those people. Like he was never really truly happy. He was an outsider too, but he was just like the dark version of them. That's what I thought, man. Maybe I smoked too much pot. Who knows? But that's what I got from his character. His character was, for it being a villain, it was a good villain, man. Like I understood his motivations and stuff, and yeah, man, what a fucking movie. The ending, obviously, like I said, brung tears to everybody's eye in the theater, and yeah, you are happy to just see that she found somebody she could be with, and it's just, man, I don't want to say a perfect movie, but it's pretty damn close. The use of music in this movie was, I would argue, even better than Baby Driver. Baby Driver is edited real cool, the music lined up real good. But the use of music in this movie just like set the tone for every scene. Every scene they just, it was a more romantic scene, a more slower song, and it's just, I don't know, the themes of the songs that they would play would really, really matched up. And yeah, man, what a great flick. Also, it seems like this was a love letter from the director Guillermo Del Toro. It was a love letter to monsters, and he's made his career off monsters. We've seen Pan's Labyrinth, uh, Hellboy, shit, even Blade. That dude is a Blade too. It's pretty cool. But yeah, man, you can see the respect and the adoration he has for these monsters. Yes, it's a fantasy world, but he has a certain way of humanizing these people, these monsters that are just beyond human, man. Like they're the most human it can be without being a human. And yes, it's a fantastical thing, You might be like, oh, it's for kids or it's whatever, but he humanized these monsters, especially this monster, in a way that most people can't humanize their human characters in movies. Like I can clearly say, like, he's humanized that monster more than Christopher Nolan humanizes a lot of his. Nothing against Chris Nolan, but more than, let's say, Christopher Nolan humanizes some of his characters. So it's I just thought that was pretty cool. Love Guillermo. I wish he would have done Justice League Dark. Me being a combo guy. But yeah, I guess we'll never get to see that. But yeah, man. Hopefully there are bigger things coming his way. I want him to see tackle other projects. Love Guillermo. Anyways, if you guys like this video, like, comment, share, subscribe, and yeah, man, I'll sweating the hell out of this movie, man. This shit was fucking dope. And yeah, catch you guys next time. ODG out.